live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Like the sky, and your spirit is one with me. Your wings span my ocean. Your eyes see everything. The slightest of your motions can make the continents ring. Yet in all your might and glory vanished from the sky, leaving just another story midst millions of man-made lives. They tell of how you fell from the sky. Your once proud beauty of flame, you vanished from your throne on high, leaving only a memory of your name. I wrote that 40 years ago, folks. The person singing it is my friend Jimmy Gray. And he put the music to that, and I put the words on that while I was doing time in a Texas prison for marijuana. Back when it was a life sentence in Texas, get caught smoking a joint. And we wrote those songs, that and others. And I've got people out there now doing a little bit of recording for those. And in that same time period, I wrote a novel. And that novel's been sitting on my shelf for a few years, 40 almost. And they were written pre-computer, so they were typed in. And I was only in my 20s. And I wrote about a different kind of future. And when I wrote it, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know nothing. I hadn't studied nothing. I didn't care. I just got my GED, scored about the 93 percentile rank, and I like what I wrote. Yeah, I wrote love songs. I wrote love songs too, yeah. I did have memories from outside prison, though. I got to write something. Yeah. Anyway, I want to bring up. It's strange. I didn't go in any different directions. The first book that I wrote 40 years ago, and wrote that song to go along with the movie to go with the book, was basically science fiction. It was basically science fiction, and I put it on a shelf, and I've kept it, and I haven't submitted it to anybody, haven't done anything with it for 40 years, because every day I gain more knowledge and more information. And the more information I get, while the characters are fictional, what I wrote about 40 years ago, what I've been writing about for the last 40 years, all ties together. After witnessing what happened at Waco, I kind of changed my direction. I put away all the toys and started really studying on it, because I said I could not stand by and watch something like that happen again and not do anything about it. And in my novels 40 years ago, my characters did something about it. The novels that I wrote 10 years ago, my characters did something about corruption, about crime. And I haven't changed. I haven't really changed my direction. I've been doing the same thing. And now I'm working on redoing the book. But it's very important to keep this radio show going, and this and what I started as the Free American. And we are having some effect. The girl I had on my show not 2 weeks ago has had her son taken from her. He's been gone almost a year. He's in this whole medical complex up here in Phoenix. They have basically kidnapped the son and kept him. He's a grown man, so Mom don't have any control, and he likes it here. He likes taking these drugs. Don't you know? Don't you know? He's happy here, Mom, and you should be coming around to bother him. You should be coming around to bother him. Now, she had a lawyer. He was going to represent her for $5,000. $5,000. Yeah, I'll get him out. But I'm not going to sue him. No, I can't sue him. No, I don't do that kind of work. I'm just specialized in this kind of law, and so I can't really do that. I told her I didn't think that was a good idea, and she didn't have $5,000 anyway. So is she going to lose her son because she didn't have $5,000? I don't think so. I contact Edgar Steele, Just Change Law Firms. I don't know what the reasoning is, and I'm not anticipating, but I had Wesley Hoyt on my show, along with Edgar Steele's wife. We're still working on getting Edgar Steele out, making people aware that people are being put in jail because, and Paul Pantone, we had Paul Pantone on. He spent 3.5 years in a mental institution, just like Mark Taylor. Mark Taylor is a survivor of Columbine. Donna Taylor is his mother, and she is stressed to the max. She can't get to see her son. She can't go to her son. She can't get any information. But I contacted Wesley Hoyt, and I said, Wesley, you need to know this. I sent him all the documentation. I sent him all the paperwork. And I haven't talked with him yet, but Donna says he wants to help. He's going to help. And I'm going to do my best to help him and try to bring all of you that are listening to this and watching this right now. I'm trying to bring you together. I'm trying to tell you what these people do, how they do it. Now, let me share this. And these people come in to every meeting. These people, and I mentioned the ADL and Southern Poverty Law to Wesley Hoyt. I said, these are the people that came after Edgar Steele. These are the people that have come after me. I don't know what they had if they had anything to do with Columbine, if they had anything to do with Gabriel. I don't know who they had, what all they have, but I know they got multi-million dollars, and I know they've contacted me. He said, they're a hate organization. They're a hate group. They're a hate organization. They're a hate organization that is pointing the finger at anybody that's an American, that's trying to do anything, that's trying to support the Constitution, and trying to say, oh, they're the haters. See, they hate us. They hate us. They hate us. Oh, we've got to do something. We got to eliminate those Steels and those militia guys. We got to enter. And here's a sheet published by a Jew by the name of Lee Bracker. Now, Lee Bracker's been on my show, and Lee Bracker did everything he could to try to create dissension between me and my other guests. So I wouldn't have him on anymore. He came to the Breakfast Club every Saturday. He's still coming to the Breakfast Club, but he and some of his Jewish friends have moved a meeting. Well, we're having another meeting. We didn't like this restaurant, so we're having another meeting over here. Clay Douglas is not allowed to come here. He's not allowed to come here because, but everybody else can come over here. We're come over to this new restaurant, and we'll have the meeting here. We just won't be talking about marijuana or Jews. Oh, let's see. Now here's this Jew Lee Bracker. He's just come out with a new book. Boy, he is industrious. I'll tell you this. Sacrifice of a Congresswoman. In my new book, soon to be published for wide distribution. Before I send out my first public edition, I will be ordering my version before I have to be careful in what I say. Therefore, it won't read like an encrypted, illegally court document. The guy's an idiot. I'm sorry. But, let's see, he does have me in here, and he wouldn't give me one of these sheets, and I asked him for it. When he refused to give me, I said, are you staying here for breakfast, or are you going to pay the $10? This is the guy that got around paying $10. He only paid $5 because he couldn't eat the food. But after somebody spotted him in the breakfast buffet line for the third time, I got his price raised to $10, as for everybody. And he got a little angry. So they separated, the Jews separated themselves into another location, and everybody's welcome, except Clay Douglas. I find that pretty interesting. And in his newspaper here, I think he included me. That's why he didn't want to give me one. But he really he objected to me calling him a Jew. I prefer to be called Jewish, he says. Now, this attack is on Edgar Steele. This attack is on the Mark Taylor, who's trying to tell the truth about the drugs that the kids were given, the shooters were given. And we don't even know. We know about Dylan and Klebold, but we don't know about Jared Longner yet. We don't know if he was on drugs. And here's, I've told you over the years, anytime a communist regime takes over a country, they go after three classes of people, almost in order. They go after the farmers first. They don't want you being able to feed yourself. That's well underway, 100 years. They go after the intelligentsia next. That's anybody that's smart enough to know what they're doing. The Alexander Solzhenitsyns, the Ezra Pounds out there, the Eustace Mullins, the Clay Douglases out there. And third, they go after the veterans and the police that remain loyal to the old regime. Whether it's the Tsar or the Constitution, doesn't matter. Now, that is underway now. And this
that oath. Every one of you
is the
ever
Oathkeepers.
served in the military, police, or even firefighters have taken an oath. You take that oath, that's where your decision is made. Right there on that spot. You pledge. You swear to God Almighty.
This is Stuart Rhodes.
The Constitution of the United States.
This is Stuart Rhodes of the Oathkeepers.
All of us who served in military, police, this is our bond, and firefighters too. When we say those words, it's not just something we say. We know that it means we're writing a blank check made out to the people of the United States for an amount up to and including our lives. That's the difference. You want to know the difference? That's it. When a firefighter goes into a burning building, he knows he might not come out, but he's duty bound to do it. He took upon himself that responsibility. I served as a volunteer firefighter in Montana only for about 8 months. I was just a rookie. But I'll tell you what, I saw some men of true character and courage. Those are the guys that run in when everybody else is running out. That's the pure spirit of a guardian who's willing to sacrifice his life. Okay? Sadly enough, though, in this country, people respect firefighters. They still understand that. that they're heroes. They really are. But all too often nowadays, they look at police and they don't see heroes anymore. They look at them and they think, these are the people that are going to come kick down my door. These are the guys that are going to arrest me and tase me on some traffic stop.
Divide and conquer. That's divide and conquer.
Tasing some old lady. Or like during Katrina, tackling an old lady to the ground in her kitchen because she dares to hold a revolver in her hand with the cylinder open. Obviously no danger to anybody. Any idiot that understands guns whatsoever should know that an open cylinder, an empty cylinder, is no danger. What is she going to do, speed load it in 2 seconds? So they see these things and they start to see the police in this country as the enemy of the people, as an occupying army. There are all too many people in this country, sincere lovers of liberty, sincere constitutionalists, who are becoming increasingly afraid of their own police officers. I find that sad.
That's why they call it a police state.
And I find it contemptible, because you know where it's coming from? There are people who want to put a divide, a wall, between the police in this country and the people. They're doing this intentionally. All these the MIAC report, the Fusion Center report from Missouri, that labeled just about everybody, the Constitution Party, a supporter of Chuck Baldwin, potential terrorist. A supporter of Ron Paul, potential terrorist. Kind of like the Emmys Awards, you know. A supporter of immigration control, potential terrorist. You know, and was one of the police officers in Miami, or in Missouri, who saw that and said, hey, I don't like being called a potential terrorist. And so that police officer leaked it. And the same goes for the DHS report that smeared veterans as potential terrorists. That was also leaked by a federal officer. Very good man. And in addition, same with the extremist lexicon, was also leaked by a federal officer who did not like the pattern he saw of this wall of separation, of this attempt to make police officers think that the people are their enemy. So they pull you over, in their mind you're a potential enemy, especially if you have a Ron Paul sticker on your car, a constitutional sticker on your car. What's the other one? Live free or die. What's the one guy, he had a sticker on his car that got hassled? Gladstone flag, got pulled over, and the police officer, sadly enough, told him the reason why I pulled you over is because that bumper sticker on your car. That's a piece of American history right there. This is the flag of our fathers. Our forefathers flew this flag as they gave their lives for our liberty. And yet this flag now is seen as a sign of a terrorist, of a lawbreaker, of an enemy of the people, of a killer of women and children.
He's holding up the rattlesnake coiled and says, "Don't tread on me." And we even did a show with one of my friends that had been flying that flag, and they were trying to take it down. Go ahead, Stuart Rhodes. You're listening to Stuart Rhodes.
There are people in this country who do not respect our republic, do not support the Constitution, who desire to destroy this republic. And they are doing all they can to erase our heritage, to make it off limits to dare to fly this flag, to make it off limits to dare to stand on Lexington Green and simply renew the oath you swore by legal obligation. They want it off limits for you to celebrate your heritage, to even talk about the Constitution, to even call yourself a constitutionalist. I saw that the DHS lexicon that says constitutionalist equals militiaman, equals extremist, equals terrorist. I thought, oh my gosh, I've been calling myself a constitutionalist for years. I didn't know. I had no idea I was extremist. What a revelation. Or a terrorist, yeah. There's a conscious effort to put a divide between the police and the people. They want the police to see you as the enemy. They want you to see the police as the enemy. Is that true? Is that the truth? No. It's like the Matrix in that movie. It's false. It's balderdash. It's nonsense. Okay? And this is one of the big, I'll tell you what, I started this organization, I already knew there were good police officers out there. I'd been a firearms instructor and met quite a few of them here in Metro in the past. And,
Sheriff Richard Mack,
the shooting schools with them, Thunder Ranch, gun site, whatever. Had a good time. And I recognized that there was that bond. There's a bond between military and police. Shouldn't be a surprise. They're all willing to put on a rifle, sling a rifle, put on a pistol, and go do what has to be done to defend their country and their neighborhoods and their friends and neighbors and their families.
And that's what the militia was, folks. That's all it was.
That's that common bond. Others who've stepped up for active duty, and even us veterans, frankly, who dare to stand up. Don't you think I'm putting a big bullseye on my forehead by doing this? And I'm not exaggerating. When Southern Poverty Law Center does all their smear stuff, are they just saying that to be mean and be nasty and maybe a libel suit will come out of it? No, it's potentially deadly. They want the FBI, DOJ, ATF to come and investigate people like me. That's their purpose. Smear you and marginalize you, and then hopefully unleash the power of government against you to silence and suppress you. They want them to come kick down my door in the middle of the night in body armor. They want guys like me to come to my house. They're not going to come do it. Is Mark Potok going to come to my house in body armor and a baklava with an MP5 in his hand and kick down my door, use a battering ram and come through my door? Is he?
These are the same people, the Southern Poverty Law, Mark Potok. These are the people that have listed me in armed and dangerous, that have listed me in false patriots, that have done their best to demonize me over the last 20 years. Oh, Clay's that militia guy, oh, that free American, oh, that racist, oh, that anti-Semite. They have squashed $1 million deals. I had magazines distributed nationwide, and it stopped suddenly, just like that.
You gonna be point man behind the ram? No! He won't come do it himself. He'll send someone like Chauncey, or someone like Dave Freeman, or someone like Bob back there, big strong guy. He wants someone like that to come to my house and kick in my door and put a submachine gun in my face and my children's face. That's what he wants. He wants them to think that I'm their enemy, and vice versa. He wants all of us to think that. And then they expect. Why are they upset about us? It's not because we're not racist. It's not that. They know it too. It's not because we're terrorists celebrating Timothy McVeigh. What they're upset about is the oath. They don't like it when what they perceive as their minions and their toys even think for themselves. Their vision, their perspective, their opinion of the police and military is that they're just like toy soldiers who wind up instead of marching. And they think, because they don't believe in a republic, they believe in this absolute rule, whoever holds political power, they believe we're a democracy. There are people in this country, when they hold political power, they figure, hey, I won the election, all the toys belong to me. And that includes the police and military. They're my toys. Do what I want with. And how dare you interfere with my toys? They're a little champ like a little kid crying and screaming in a sandbox. Don't touch my toys! Don't remind those men and women of honor and courage, their obligations under the law. Don't you dare talk to them about their individual responsibility to know the Constitution and to keep their oath to defend it. Don't do that. Don't talk to them. Why? Because I'm encouraging violence? Am I encouraging police and military to go out and start shooting people? No. All I'm simply asking them to do, all we are asking them to do, is to stand down, to refuse to comply with unlawful orders, as is their obligation. It's been a long-standing legal obligation to disobey unlawful orders. Not just an option, a duty.
I think he is absolutely right. But I talked about the article that I wrote. And this is all happening. Stuart Rhodes is Oathkeepers. I'm a member. I've joined. Richard Mack is a member. He's spoken out about it. I've got Stuart Rhodes up on my website right now. You can see the speech and understand it. Folks, I took an oath at 17 to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's all I want. That's all I want to do. And over the last 100 years since the Federal Reserve took over, this whole demonization process, this whole change of the language has really taken root, and they've got control through Hollywood Yeah, Jews control Hollywood, and it's not being anti-Semitic to point this. This is the Mossad has civilian arms. It's called the ADL in Southern Poverty Law, and their whole thing is to change your way of thinking. Now I'm going to try to explain to you why they're doing it and how they're doing it. But the answer goes back again to my novel 40 years ago. 40 years ago. I've got a little blurb for it because I did a screenplay off of the book that I've been working on for 40 years. I did a little bit on that, and the opening blurb for that said thousands of years ago, Earth was a different place. A race existed like no others. Theirs was a technology far ahead of the levels we know of today. They faced a disaster similar to that which killed the dinosaurs. They sent their people out into space. Only a few brave souls stayed to help the less advanced inhabitants of this planet rebuild. They were genetically advanced men, almost immortal, incredibly powerful, telepathic, and able to manipulate matter with their minds. They were known as gods, angels, warriors, and demons among the survivors of our planet's close encounter with a galactic intruder. That would be your Planet X, by the way. The legends and names of these beings are scattered throughout our history. Their power grew, all-pervasive and hidden throughout modern times. Humanity was divided, conquered, and controlled by unseen hands. Today, the balance of power shifted into the hands of the most feared being in history. In Morals and Dogma, Albert Pike writes, Lucifer, the light bearer, strange and mysterious name to give to the spirit of darkness. Lucifer, the son of the morning, is it he who bears the light and its splendors, intolerable, blind, feeble, sensual, or selfish souls? Doubt it not. And in Morals and Dogmas, he also says this. This is Albert Pike. This is a Civil War general. This is the same man that predicted the 3 world wars to come after the Civil War. Masonry, like all the religions, all the mysteries, Hermeticism, alchemy, conceals its secrets from all except the adepts and sages or the elect, and uses false explanations and misinterpretations of its symbols to mislead those who deserve only to be misled, to conceal the truth which it calls light from them, and to draw them away from it. Truth is not for those who are unworthy or unable to receive it or would pervert it. The truth must be kept secret, and the masses need a teaching proportioned to their imperfect reason. The every man's conception of God must be proportioned to his mental cultivation and intellectual powers and moral excellence. God is, as man conceives him, the reflected image of man himself. And he writes, Lucifer, the light bearer, strange and mysterious name to give the spirit of darkness. Lucifer, the son of the morning, is it he who bears the light and its splendors, intolerable, blind, feeble, sensual, or selfish souls? Doubt it not. Now, I'm going to share with you, and this will be the second half of our recording today. It'll be up on YouTube. I'm going to share with you the words and the information left to us by Bill Cooper. Bill and I were close. We were getting closer. We were going to put our magazines together. We talked about that. We discussed it. And then in 2 weeks, a short 2 weeks, he was murdered by the police. He was set up and killed. Whether it had anything to do with me or whether it was the fact that Clinton called him the most dangerous talk show host in America, I don't know. But his words tie in to what I just read you, tie into the book I wrote 40 years ago while Bill Cooper was actually living this. Now, hang on, hello in blog TV, got people listening, got the viewers watching, and I'm going to talk to you about Bill Cooper in just a heartbeat. Hang on.